West Ham United look set to bring in Casper Ankergren, and don't get too excited, it's not a new centre-back, it's not a new striker, it's a new goalkeeping coach. However, it's important, this will be a crucial addition for Graham Potter. Obviously, we've got Xavi Valero departing, pre-season begins in a couple of weeks, so we need the goalkeeping coach in place for that, but it's pivotal to Graham Potter's summer transfer business. I'll explain why in just a minute. Before we do that, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and also drop a like on the video as well by clicking the thumbs up button. The last two videos I've asked you to do that. I've aimed for 1,000 likes. We've had 1.2k and 1.5k, incredible. But also the views on those videos have gone up. It works. Your support matters. Dropping a like on it by clicking thumbs up makes a big difference. Also, just wish to point in direction of our online store. We're having a closing down sale. You probably know, but we just need to remind you every few days because we want to sell as much things as possible before we take it offline at the end of July. There might be something you like. There's even more reductions, so go have a look. But if you know a West Ham fan, maybe consider getting a gift for them. Christmas is not that far, well, it's quite far away. And actually, scrap that. I can't even mention Christmas when I'm sat here sweating my tits off. But go have a look. hammerstratstore.com. Links in the description below. There might be something you like. Go have a gander. Right then, Casper Ankergren. You may know him. He played football in England. He joined Leeds on loan originally and then signed for them for a couple of seasons when they were in League One. Then he ended up at Brighton where he finished his career off. So he had a big part in Leeds and Brighton. This is when they were in the lower divisions, of course. And then from that part of his career at Brighton, he retired and stayed at the club, becoming an assistant goalkeeping coach and then a goalkeeping coach, but was also involved in the scouting of goalkeepers at Brighton. And then 4 years ago, he went and joined Brondby, where he's been since then. However, he's departing this summer. Now, this news is coming out of Denmark. I always think that gives stories a little bit of integrity. Since our side of things, the West Ham journalists, since we discovered Valero was departing, we've been linked to a couple of names, yet nothing's happened, including a Brighton goalkeeping coach who's left Brighton, is currently unemployed. Even he hasn't been recruited yet. So this one feels a little bit more believable. Now, Graham Potter has worked with him at Brighton when Potter was at that club. That was one of the goalkeeping coaches there as well. Now, this will be an important role to fulfill, whoever it is that does come in, because historically Graham Potter has relied upon his goalkeeping coach to be a goalkeeping scout and have a big say in which goalkeepers to bring to the football club. And that's not a Graham Potter thing. West Ham have done it in the past with Xavi Valero. He's had a big say in which goalkeepers we bring in. Obviously, with the success of Fabianski, that's worked out. Not so much with Roberto and Areola, somewhere in the middle, I guess. And then obviously, Randolph was as required when necessary. David Martin, I think, whilst he perhaps did, well, he had a couple of big games, didn't he? But I do think behind the scenes and in the change room, he was a very popular person. So by and large, I think our recruitment for goalkeepers under Valero was good. And it's something Potter's done historically. Obviously, Ben Roberts was at Brighton with him, went to Chelsea with him. He's still there. He's been promoted. Roberts' role now is, I don't know what it is officially, but essentially, he's not only in charge of Chelsea, he's in charge of the clubs like Strasbourg as well, because they've got fingers in more pie. So Roberts is head of goalkeeping coaching, but he's not a coach anymore. He hires the coaches to coach the goalkeeper and oversees player recruitment and scouting for more than just one club in Chelsea. So whoever we bring in will have a big say of which goalkeeper we bring in, because of course we've got a vacancy there as well to replace Lukasz Fabianski. And that brings us on to a report from Exeter employee suggesting that Mads Hermansen is now perhaps the #1 target to be our #1 next season. Now, of course, there's a couple of obvious links here, isn't there? Because Hermansen is Danish, as is Ankergren. I keep forgetting his second name, Ankergren. There's the Danish link, but not only that, when Hermansen was at Brondby, Ankergren was his goalkeeping coach there as well. There's a lot of links here, but it sort of makes sense. All the bits fall into place a little bit. So according to the Danish media, that's our new goalkeeping coach. And according to Exeter employee, Hermansen could be our goalkeeping target off the back of him. It adds up. Hermansen's Denmark's third choice goalkeeper at the minute, behind Schmeichel's #1, and then Jorgensen, who's at Chelsea, is their #2 goalkeeper. So he's in the national team, 24 years old, turns 25 in the summer. So before the season kicks off, he'll be 25. I'm a big fan. I thought he was really good last season. I thought he was fantastic. Got injured, came back, was decent. Right, I think his form before the injury was superb. And that's why when Steve Cooper got sacked, and the pundits came out and said, hey, what's Leicester going on about? They're outside of allegation zone by a couple of points, and there were 17. But when you actually watched Leicester City, even though they were picking up some points, my word, they were riding their luck. Cooper was riding his luck. Because I wasn't against Leicester sacking Cooper. It made sense. I promise you, that's a chair squeaking. It's sweaty. It's hot. All right? There you go. There you go. Squeaky chair. But I felt Hermansen was keeping Leicester City in games big time under Cooper. I would be very happy with him as a sign-in. There will be a large price tag attached to Hermansen. He's not coming for 10 million. I think you're looking at around about the 20 million pound mark. You may be a little bit less. It might even be a little bit more. So I'm going down the middle and saying 20 million is the price tag. But I think you're getting in a very, very good goalkeeper for Premier League level. I think, and also what you're doing is at that age, just turning 25, you could look at that and say realistically, all being well, you could get him for 10 years. You're getting a goalkeeper for a significant period of time. I would be very, very happy if we signed Hermansen as our goalkeeper for next season. I'm not going to go into the statistics behind him of that. There is a video on the channel already. If you just type in on YouTube, Hamish Chat goalkeepers, it will come up where we took a look at, well, I say I took a look at some of the goalkeepers we've been linked to and some of the goalkeepers I would have liked. Hermansen's in there, and you can see how he compares to the likes of Areola and Cooper and Kelleher statistically, if for anyone interested. But anyway, that's the latest on the goalkeeping position. Moving on to Mathias Kvistgaarden. Quite a few clubs linked to him. The media are suggesting there's still quite a lot of clubs interested, but one club which could be out of the running is Bayer Leverkusen. They are pursuing Quansah of Liverpool for 30 million plus add-ons, which is a massive fee. He's a good player, Quansah, but I don't know if he's a £30 million player. But anyway, he could be off to Leverkusen, which, by the way, I do think he's a good signing for them. I think he will suit the Bundesliga perhaps a bit more than the Premier League. Got destroyed at Portman Road in the opening game of the season. Never really recovered under Arne Slot. So that's a big purchase for Leverkusen. And yes, they've sold a centre-back, and Jonathan Tah left on the free, and then Kosunu has joined Atalanta. But the context here is he was already on loan at Atalanta. They've just signed him. He didn't really play that much this season. It's just finished for Atalanta. He was injured for half of it, but they've signed him anyway. But I've seen some reports say, well, Leverkusen have lost two centre-backs, so they need to bring in two, Quansah and Kvistgaarden. Not so much the case. From last season's squad, they've lost one centre-back in Jonathan Tah, and now Quansah could be a way to replace him. So they might still be in the running for Kvistgaarden. I would suggest that this is a bit of a blow, actually. Now, he's still linked to Real Sociedad. He's still linked to Marseille, and he's also now linked to Juventus. Now, apparently, Juve is interested in him. Depends on us taking one of their players in return, and not just any player, Rugani in particular, who spent last season on loan at Ajax. I'm not his biggest fan. Admittedly, I'm not seeing him play loads, and he hasn't played loads, to be honest with you. But when I have seen him, I think he looks bog standard. I think he's 29, 30, 20, 30, maybe 30 years old. He's not young. It's one of them that I don't mind part exchanges in two separate transactions with clubs like Chelsea. But when it comes to players that are perhaps less desirable, it's a no thank you for me. So yes, I want to sell a Kvistgaarden, but it's not at the point of sell a Kvistgaarden and take any deal possible. If there was no deals north of 20 million on the table, I think I'd be inclined to keep him and say, do you know what, we're just going to go with a Kvistgaarden next season. We'll have a Kvistgaarden, Kilman, Tadibo, Mavropanos. That's our centre-backs. Let's go. Because ultimately, we're selling, we're probably going to have to bring in a centre-back. Now, there is one in particular I want, and we've not been linked to him, but he could be on the move this summer. I'll cover it in a different video. In regards to centre-backs, we've been linked to, I mean, this one's just ridiculous. We've been linked to Joe Gomez of Liverpool. Price tag, 30 million. I mean, the guy is just injury-prone to a T. Good player when fit, can play across the entire back four, right back, left back, centre-back. He's comfortable in all positions. really comfortable in possession. I think defensively he's really good as well. There's not a lot of his profile I dislike. Homegrown, 20... I think he's 28 now, which surprised me. I thought he was still like 24 or something. So he's a bit older than I thought he was. But he's just injury prone. If he wasn't injury prone, he wouldn't be available for 30 million. Liverpool would be keeping him, and if he wanted him, it'd be 50 million. But he's not. He's injury prone. So it's a no thank you at West Ham for me. Good player, just bad set of circumstances for him, unfortunately. And that leads us on to the last one that we're going to discuss today. Well, actually, there's two more. First one is James McAtee, ex-West Ham employees, once again linked us to the Manchester City player who, I have to say, looks pretty poop at the Euro Under-21s. I've watched all 3 England games. Actually, that's a lie. I watched 2.5. Switched off at half-time against Germany. And he's looked poor. Admittedly, he's playing in sort of like what I would consider a false 9 position, not really where you'd play him for West Ham. But this is a tournament with players with similar experience, similar ages, similar physique. He's not looking too great. I think there's a few England players looking good. He is not one of them. So would I have him at West Ham? On loan, yes. Buying him a year ago, I would have loved it. I'd have said, get him in. This guy's talented. But I don't know, I've gone off him a little bit. He's the captain as well. I was expecting him to light up the tournament a little bit. Not being the case so far. Sticking with ex-West employee, he has reiterated our interest in Wickham striker Kone. And also, lastly, the Italian media are the only media that seem to think we have money to spend. The Spanish ain't linking us to players. The Germans, the Dutch, even the French. The French link us to everyone and anyone. Even they're not bothering to link us to anyone because they know we're skint. But for some reason, the Italians are determined to link us to players. And we've been linked to a couple of Genoa defenders. De Winter being one who looked all right in the Nations League for the Netherlands, it would be, I guess. He looked all right when I seen him. I don't know enough about him, though. I don't watch Genoa play football. Anyway, that's the latest transfer rumours around West Ham, but the biggest transfer rumour, I guess, is not regarding a player. It's a goalkeeping coach, but don't underestimate the importance of getting this guy in, because put to one side what you think about the transfer window and the transfer budget and stuff, I think we can agree this fact remains. We need to sign a goalkeeper this summer. Some of you will want to spend money and get a substantial number 1 in. Some of you will be thinking, oh, I'll just get a cheap backup and let Areola be number 1. But I think most of us would agree. Not all of us. Some will say, oh, no, just promote Finlay Herrick to the goalkeeper. Have him as well as Fodringham and Areola. But I think they're few and far between. I think most of us can agree we need a goalkeeper this summer. And historically, what we know about Graham Potter is the goalkeeping coach has a big say as to who we go after. So we need that guy in so we can kick on with the next part of the process. But if he does arrive and rock up soon, it means that, you know, we can get planning for pre-season trading, but also we can get planning for which goalkeeper to go after. And if he does have a good relationship with Hermansen, bonus, but also being Danish and from Brondby, remember who we've been strongly linked to this last few weeks and months? Kvistgaarden, the striker, Kvistgaarden. Been linked to him. Well, Ankergren will not only know him very well as a player, he'll know him very well as a person. You just don't know, do you? Because I have a suspicion that Potter's known for quite some time who he wants as his goalkeeping coach, because forgive me, I can't remember his name, the Brighton goalkeeping coach left. It was announced he was leaving a month ago, maybe. As soon as the season finished, oh, he's off and another coach is off. So he's there. We haven't gone and got him. So I've got a feeling Potter's always knowing who he wants. And now this name's been leaked in the Danish press. It makes sense a little bit. I do just wonder, just maybe, if Macaulay has identified Kvistgaarden, even if we weren't bringing in Ankergren, you'd imagine Potter would have had a phone call with him and said, hey, is he suited for the Premier League, so on and so forth. Maybe I'm putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 5. If so, I can maybe get a job as West Ham's accountant, because that's how we've been doing our sums ahead of the summer transfer window. Anyway, it's too hot. I'm off. Go to our store, hammerstratstore.com. Hopefully you've dropped a like on the video by now. If not, please do subscribe. Catch up with you tomorrow.